Love you. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Don't join from there. We have to log in you as from here as a host. Then only we can send the ID. Just keep one PC only logged there.
Yeah. So I've logged in.
No, you don't. Log out.
Log out. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to keep this hand, okay?
Okay, 4 more minutes. How many attendees? 4 unique. 3. Hmm? Yeah, okay. And this window will not be there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The presentation is visible there.
but now the ticker is not working. Very good morning to all of you, and thank you for joining us today in this session of our webinar on Global Citizen Scholarship. Taking out time on Saturday morning, thank you so much. Before we get on to the details of the scholarship, I would like to introduce you to our panelists. I'm Sheetal Dasgupta, who is part of the marketing team here in Singapore. Then I have Vishal Gera, who heads the Corporate Connect program. I have Shija, who heads the CBSC here in Singapore. And we have Rashi from India, who heads the scholarship program. Now, before we get into the details of the Global Citizen Scholarship, now this scholarship is going to help your children study in Singapore. Now, let's try and understand Singapore first before we get into the details of this scholarship.
I cannot move the presentation. Can we? Yeah.
Yeah. So Singapore, yes, it's called the small red dot. Now here, when we talk about a small red dot, the size doesn't matter. Even if it is small, it is the Asia's power hub. And when we talk about Asia, Singapore definitely has a big role to play. You will see a good blend of Western and Eastern culture here. All the cultures out here live in absolute harmony. It is safe, clean, and green. Even at 11 o'clock in the night, you can safely move around without any fear. Yes, it is a bit expensive for the expatriates, but there is a way around it. The major areas of expenditure are where you live, the school you go to, and the medical expenses. But then if you choose the right school, the right place to stay, and have yourself covered with medical insurance, you should be able to manage your finances here. Then, of course, when we talk about Singapore, there is a funny language which is very inherent to Singapore, which is Singlish. You will hear a lot of can already, da pao. Get used to this, this language, which is very peculiar to Singapore. Moving on to the education system here in Singapore.
Just to add to the safety part, you will not see in any of the countries or any places around the world, except for Singapore, where you have 8 or 9-year-olds traveling by themselves in train or any public transport reaching school by themselves. So it's really that safe. Moving on to the education system in Singapore, there are 3 kinds of schooling solutions that are there. The first one is the MOE school, which is the by Ministry of Education, which is the government school, which is a very high standard and pretty well known across the globe. The admission to MOE schools happens through a system. The grade one, it is based on the vacancy. From grade 2 onwards, there is an exam that is AEIS examination that the students has to pass. Of course, the preference obviously for Singapore citizens and permanent residents is first, and then comes the foreign students. And looking at the international community that is there in Singapore, there is a huge chunk of foreign students in Singapore, and that's where the international schools come in picture. So there are international schools, and there are also international schools which follow a country curriculum like German curriculum or European curriculum. In the international school segment, if you look at the foreign students in last 5 years statistics, the foreign students intake has actually increased drastically from say 45,000 to now 75,000 students, and the international schools have also increased from 60 to 90, and GIIS, so Global Indian International School, is one of the largest international schools in Singapore. We will delve in deeper and more about GIIS in future slides. Let's move on to our further studies, higher studies.
So now you would be wondering that my child will do his grade 11, 12 in Singapore, and should he, have to come back to India? What are his prospects of higher studies? Singapore has a lot of options available. Now there are some government institutes like NTU, NUS. You have public colleges also. There are affiliation colleges, and there are partnership colleges also. So now there is a lot of options. You have the MDIS, Kaplan schools, where children can go, or you have the prestigious NUS, NTU, which come in the global ranking, where your kids can do their higher studies. Now these are some of the higher studies universities available. You have NTU, NUS, as I mentioned, SUTD, you have SUSS. So there are a lot of options here, SMU. Some of the courses which we've seen children popularly select out here in Singapore, you have the business, economics, computing, IT, you have creative design also, and architecture, medicine. Now let's move on to this scholarship. Now, Global Indian International School is actually giving you this chance and this scholarship for students who are meritorious and deserving and should get a chance in life to actually get into good colleges in the future. So before that, let's try and understand what this GIIS is and how it all started. So Global Schools Foundation is a non-profit organization which started in 2002. It has 2 brands of schools under it, which is the GIIS, Global Indian International School, and OWIS, which is One World International School. It also has Cultural Center, it has Global Excellence Center, where we are encouraging students to do much more than just academics. After school programs, weekend programs, are kind of encouraging students to go much beyond just academics and towards holistic development. It all started, as I mentioned to you, in 2002 with just 48 students. And today, after 18 years, we have 23 campuses in 7 countries with over 15,000 students. So GIIS Punggol Smart Campus is where your children will come to study. And I would like you to go through the different facilities which we have. It's the state-of-the-art campus. It has digital classrooms. It has learning commons and all the environment which is needed for a child to get inspired and be holistically prepared for future.
And in fact, today's live webinar is hosted at GIIS Pungal Smart Campus. Can we play the video, please?
The video is not being.
We can move on to the next slide. We're moving on to the next slide.
Yeah, okay. I think we'll come back to this because I really want you to go through this little video of about maybe just 30 seconds, which will give you the different facilities which are available and which will be totally available for your children if they get selected for the scholarship. In this digitally smart campus, we have the provision of virtual classrooms. We ensure that the children, even if they are sick, they're out for some school work, they should not miss what's being taught in the school. And because of that, we have ensured that there is virtual classroom available. And especially in today's time where stay at home, work from home, virtual, remote is something which is commonly heard. This is coming very handy to our students, and they are sitting at home and listening to the lectures which are happening in school and not missing a single lecture. So their studies are not compromised here.
In fact, GIIS has been conducting virtual classroom to support all our students who've been sitting at home or not able to attend the classes because of the current situation, all across locations across the globe in our campuses.
Okay, so Rashi, I would like you to now take our attendees through the details of the scholarship.
Sure. So Global Indian International School is offering Global Citizen Scholarship. This is basically a 2-year program through which you get to study in the Smart Campus Pungal with completing your 11th and 12th with 100%
Rashi,
scholarship.
sorry, I think we lost you. Can you be louder?
Hello, is it fine now?
Rashi, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, carry on. We can hear you now. Great, welcome back.
Thank you. So Global Citizen Scholarship is a scholarship for class 10th kids to complete the class 11th and 12th on a fully funded scholarship basis. We have no bond attached to this program. We started this in 2008. Until now, over 85 students have already benefited out of it. The curriculum options that we offer under this scholarship is to study either IBDP board or the CBSE board. Talking about the eligibility criteria to apply for the scholarship is 80% the minimum you should get in your class 9th and 10th, 9th final examinations and 10th half yearlies or pre-boards. Then 80% again, it's the same for all other state boards, and the medium of instruction is English. Moving on to the next slide. Can we please change the slide? Yeah. So coming to the selection process for this scholarship, we have a written examination that is a 3-hour paper, which is divided into 2 sections. So part A is basically an objective section that covers your English, mathematics, logical and analytical reasoning. Coming to part B is your essay writing, where we will be testing your writing skills. In the objective section, you will have 100 questions to attempt, and in part B, there is only 1 question. Then we have added few more centers in India. So in total, we have around 25 centers where you can reach out, whichever is nearer to your place, and appear for the examination. After the written exam, we have a Skype interview. The students who will be shortlisted through the written exam will get a notification through the email to appear for a Skype interview. Similarly, the students who further qualify for the final round will get an email notification to hold the face-to-face interviews. For details, you can visit the website. All the details are mentioned there. Moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah, talking about the timelines. As of now, we have extended the application form submission deadline to 31st of March. So in case you have anybody known who has still not applied for the scholarship, they have a chance. So you can tell them to fill the application forms till 31st of March. As of now, we have kept the exam date as 11th April, which is tentative. And again, the Skype will be conducted in second week of May, somewhere around that time. Face-to-face interviews we usually conduct in the end of May, somewhere between 22nd to 30th of May. And then we result the declare in first week of June. Next slide, please. So the important things you need to remember about this program is the documentation process. Since you have already filled in the application form, you have already completed this thing. But I would like to inform the students who have not submitted their passport along with the application form, please carry your passport at the time of the examination, whichever center you are going to, carry a passport copy or a receipt of the passport applied for.
So we move on to the next slide here. Yeah. So the so we'll talk about. I think we've already talked about important things to remember. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, we can. Can we
just give us a minute? We'll just be back with the presentation.
Are we?
Now that Rashi has actually explained you the details of the scholarship, and after the presentation, we will give you a chance to ask questions. I know that you would have a lot of questions to ask in terms of the portion which is going to get covered, the syllabus, the timing, if it's getting postponed, then how long it is going to get postponed, and is the application date going to get postponed also, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. We will definitely take each one of that. And yeah, here I think we are back on the track.
So the questions can be actually typed into the chat box at the end of the presentation once we open the forum for questions, and we'll read out the questions and answer the queries. Okay, so you can read the Sheetal. These are the facilities. So let's look at the facilities available for scholarship students in Singapore. So here we talk about the smart campus. Of course, we'll go through the video. Maybe if we get the chance again, we'll go through the video again to share the facilities. But we're talking about digital classrooms. As we mentioned, we have conducted virtual classrooms before. There is a world-class library with the facilities and books available across subjects and topics. There is IT and design technology labs. There are more than 40 studios in the smart campus, including a radio studio, a culinary studio, a recording studio. There are science labs, sports facilities, cafeteria, and learning commons. Sheetal, would you like to share some about the hostel facilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a hostel, which is specially for the scholarship children, and it is extremely close, very, very close to the school. So children generally walk up to the school and go back in the evening. Very comfortable, fully air conditioned. You have a swimming pool there. We have a warden who takes care of the children. There is cafeteria near the hostel where the kids get their meals. So a very, very comfortable accommodation and a very safe accommodation for all our students. At GIIS, we have multiple curricular options available. So in case your child is presently in CBSE and wishes to take IBDP for the higher studies, which is grade 11, 12, that is very much possible. But of course, we usually recommend that the shift should happen after detailed consultation with the HODs. So we have Shija here who heads CBSE. Similarly, we have Deepa Chandrasekhar who heads the IBDP. So a detailed discussion interview is taken by these HODs to understand if the child will be comfortable in shifting the curriculum. So with multiple curricular choice, it starts from grade 1 to grade 12. So grade 1 to grade 12, we have CBSE, but we have complete international curricula available for children who do not want to continue with CBSE. So we have IBPYP for primary, we have CLSP for lower Cambridge, then we have IGCSE and IBDP for grade 11 and 12. Let's look at some of the scholars who've actually taken this scholarship in the past. This scholarship, as Rashi mentioned, started in 2008. So it's been running for more than 10 years now. And in these 10 years, we have, there are about 85 or more students who have been, lucky to get this scholarship and have taken advantage of this. In terms of these 85 students, the kind of curricula they have taken, it's 50-50, you can say. It's not that more of CBSE or IBDP, but we've seen that 50-50 is the number for both the curricula. 92% is the score of the CBSE students who've graduated from grade 12 till now. In these 10 years, we've had 3 world toppers for IBDP, and more than 50% have scored 40 points and above. IBDP is a tough course, and if you say that students are able to get above 40 points, their chances of getting into world-class universities becomes really, really high. So these are the popular courses which our students have taken. We have medicine, which of course always medicine percentage will be less because it's anyway a very, very tough course. But a lot of students have gone in for engineering, different type of engineering. You have computer engineering, mechanical, civil engineering, and we've seen a lot of students going into pure sciences also, and economics and psychology. So these are 4 big areas where we've seen our children have taken up their higher studies after this scholarship. Some of the countries where they've gone to, you have US, UK, Canada, Australia, and some of the universities they've gone to. So you have Georgia Tech, NUS, NTU, IIT. A lot of students have gone back to India also. It's not that that once the child studies here in Singapore, he has to get stuck to Singapore, or it's cannot go back to India. They've gone into very, very good universities in India. University of British Columbia, Oxford University, Trinity College. So if you see that their chances of getting into global universities becomes really high.
Saying that, there's also great opportunity in Singapore, as she mentioned already before. In current scenario, if you look at it in the current statistics, what she has shared on the presentation, there's more than 20% who have actually selected Singapore as their further study destination and gone into one of the top universities like NUS, NTA, or SMU.
Now we have some of the testimonials of our scholars who have taken this scholarship and how they have felt about it. So can we play the video? Okay, I think, yeah.
We're just getting that sorted.
And we feel it will be interesting for you to hear this little child talk about her experience.
Namaste. And hello everybody, I'm Kaveri Priya Putty and I'm from Hyderabad, India. I'm a 100% scholarship student as a part of the Global Citizen Scholarship by the Global Schools Foundation. When I was in grade 7, I used to go to a GIIS school as a center for my Science Olympiad Foundation second level exams. And I've been keeping track of all the scholars from 2014. And this year, when it was my turn to apply, I very eagerly applied for the Global Citizen Scholarship. We had to submit a resume along with our pre-board results and our 9th grade results. And then after we got shortlisted, we had a written test, which had 2 sections of math and English. And then after that, we had a series of interviews, 3 to be precise. My scholarship is 100%. This scholarship has consolidated all my high school achievements into one entity, and it has also done numerous things for me. Firstly, I've learned to live on my own, and I get to go around the city in an MRT, and it has helped me become more independent, buying my own groceries or making my own food, for instance. And secondly, it has helped me grow as a person, and it has also helped me build my resume because there are so many things, so many facilities, and there's state-of-the-art infrastructure here at the PG Smart campus. I live in a hostel very close to the school. It's a 5-minute walking distance from school, and I have an amazing hostel. We have delicious food, free Wi-Fi, swimming pool, tennis court. We have AC, and we have everything that we could ever ask for. And we also get a monthly allowance every month. We have a really nice warden. I would definitely recommend the GII scholarship because it provides a platform for international exposure. We have workshops at NUS and NTU. We get to build a resume. We have a very good counselor. We have a very good school. We get to participate in various competitions. And all of that consolidated will help us get into very good colleges. And I think this opportunity is something that nobody should miss.
Lovely. So lovely. I hope you enjoyed this little testimonial of our ex-student. So we want you to meet one more student who's a current student. He's a scholar, and we want you to see how his day is, starting from going to school and in the night before bedtime. Can we play this video?
Hey guys, I'm Adna Varshney, a student from GIIS Pungal Smart Campus, and I'm gonna show you what it's like to be me for a day. So it's about 8:55 right now, and with the breakfast done, we are heading to the school, which will take about 5 minutes, I think. And that's pretty convenient because the school is very near, so we don't have to take any other transport. We just walk to the school. So I'll see you guys there. right now I have a self-study period, which is supposedly a free time that the school provides you to think of ideas or do your homework or work on something of like your interest. So this is a very good part about the school because they give you some time to delve into studies yourself, and they just don't keep on teaching you throughout the day. So I'll most probably be coding, and I'll see you guys after this period. So I'm back at the hostel now. It's about 5, 8, and I'm super tired. I had a computer science extra class, which just made me more tired right now. I'm standing right in front of the hostel door. You can see that. So let's head back in and see what the others are up to. Frankly speaking, living in a hostel comes with its own sets of advantages and disadvantages. Firstly, it makes you independent. Basically, it prepares you for going to universities and living alone. Right now, you're not really living alone. You're still under supervision of a warden, which takes care of you, which looks after you, and believe me, she's very, very nice. Apart from that, it also allows you to learn how to live away from your family, because that's a very major step that students have to take when they're going to universities or they're applying for future education. Yeah, it's difficult at first. It's definitely difficult, but then you start getting a hang of it. So it gets better. Believe me, it gets better. Okay, so let me tell you guys a little bit about the scholarship now. So the scholarship I applied for and the one I'm currently on is called the Global Citizen Scholarship, which is 100% scholarship and is worth about 90,000 Singaporean dollars. It pays for your accommodation, pays for your tuition fees, your food, and basically everything. There was a written test which had, I think, questions from maths and English. After the written test, there was a Skype interview, which was pretty interesting, to be honest. There was another interview which was face to face. It had much specific questions from certain topics, maybe from subjects or from what I want to do in future or what my life goals are. And after that, it took about, I think, a month or so for the results to come out, which was a very stressful time for me, to be very honest, because I mean my future was uncertain. I was preparing for IIT at the time. Nothing was clear if I would be coming here or not. My experience over here, to be very honest, has been pretty good. The scholarship and the hostel basically together pose a lot of challenges, which are both good. So it's about 8, I guess, and we're done with our dinner, and I'm headed back to our hostel. I'll probably be studying right now. I'll try to do all my maths homework. So I'll see you guys after that. Bye-bye. Alright, so I just managed to finish all of my maths homework and also an English essay, which I was supposed to submit yesterday. And it's about 12 right now, and my day has come to an end. So this is how a typical day in my life looks like. I hope you guys like this video, and thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye and good night.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed the video and the experience which our scholars go through. Now, before we get on to Q&A, I would like to announce that there would be a handful of people or handful of students who would be lucky to get this scholarship. But the rest of you who are interested in studying in GIIS Smart Campus in Singapore, the other scholarships are available for you, and you can go to SG scholarships and apply for those scholarships. And who knows, maybe you're lucky to get the other scholarships, and you we meet very soon, and you're here in Singapore Smart Campus. Okay, so now we can move on to Q&A.
So I think
Vishal,
there is already a question by one of the participants, Navneet. Rashi, this one is for you. Navneet is asking how to figure out the syllabus for the written exam.
Yeah, so Navneet, whatever you have studied in class 9th and 10th, we'll be covering that. So you need to work on your English and mathematics. There will be no science questions onto it. So just you can brief run through your class 9th books and class 10th English and mathematics.
Okay, any more questions? If would like to know about the campus or the exam dates or syllabus or anything else.
I would like just ask Shija if she would want to, share something with our attendees today as to how we help these students, get into the system.
Sure. So there is always a feeling of concern that we've come across when parents send their kids as young as 15 to a country which is very, very new to them. So trust us when we say that we handle this very, very carefully. A sense of belonging is the first thing that we make available to the students. Teachers pay special attention to have a very inclusive classroom to support their learning. We appoint mentors in the form of teachers for the students, appoint buddies. So the mental well-being is most important for us. We ensure that they are well settled. And then a lot of opportunities are made available to the students. And as you saw the testimonials from our scholars, it does take a little time, we're not denying that, but they settle in very well. And they enjoy the comfort of a very safe environment, yet get an exposure which will definitely add to their profiles and make their applications to the universities very, very good, very easy. And the placements are extremely good. If you see a record of our scholars, the placement records, it speaks very highly of how they've integrated so well in our school and then in our society and gone ahead to do very well in life.
Thank you, Shija. I think that was great. I think it will be very helpful for all our attendees. Vishal, do we have more questions?
Yeah, I think there are more questions coming up. So Giselle has a question. Are there any options for commerce stream?
Okay, by commerce, if you mean in CBSE, we do offer accountancy, economics, and business studies. As far as the international curriculum is concerned, we do have economics and business studies. So there are a few students who, after their class 12th, either in CBSE or IB, have selected liberal arts in the local universities and are doing pretty well.
Thank you, Shija. There's another question is, how do you handle the visa process? I think this one is for you, Rashi. If selected, when does the school term start?
The visa documentation will be taken care by the GIIS, and if in case you get shortlisted, the school term will start in first week of July.
And what we do is that all the selected students, we will be applying for visa from here, Singapore. And once the approval letter comes, you will have to come and collect your cards when you reach Singapore. So that, don't worry about that. The warden, the school, the admission team, everybody will be there to help you out.
Okay. Our schools, okay, I think this is more towards the current situation. Our schools working in Singapore, especially when we have the current scenario of COVID-19. So, Sheetal, would you want to answer this one?
Yeah, the schools are functioning, but of course nowadays it's a break time after the exams, and the schools will reopen in April. Singapore's minister also was here in school, who shared his ideas on COVID. And Singapore as a nation is very clear that lockdown is something which they are not looking at before time or after time. For that, we are totally prepared. We have virtual classrooms here. Right now also, we have part of students who are taking these sessions from home, and some of them are here in the school. So teacher is able to manage both the groups, and none of the students are missing anything academically. So there is no harm there.
So I believe Sheetal has also covered what GIS as a school is taking care of, or helping in a way to take care of the current situation. And like she mentioned, virtual classrooms, there are obviously government directives which the schools are following, managing temperature checking, recording the temperatures through our online systems on our apps, and maintaining those records, checking those systems twice a day. And also sanitizing and keeping our premises checked at all times. So there's a lot of precautions and measurement steps that have been taken, measures have been taken.
Social distancing is also something that we're very, very particular about.
Regular mails are sent from school to parents or updating them about the measures which we are taking here in school. So parents are totally aware of what they need to do in case there is 50-50 decision taken. So who is going to stay back, which students are going to come, whether the school is going to open in April. All these information are regularly fed in to parents through mails, through our My GIS, which is our in-house portal.
Okay, I think that answers the current situation part. I'll go to the next question. Okay, very basic one. What if I don't have a passport? Navneet, you do need a passport, because other than that, without that, you cannot travel. But I believe Rashi mentioned in our last webinar that if you don't have it, at least you need to have the receipt of the application of passport submission request when you're appearing for the exam. Right, Rashi?
Yeah.
Okay. And now I'll go down to the next question. I think this one, Sheetal, if you would like to take it, please explain what specific help career counselor provide to guide selection of universities.
Yeah, so we have career counseling cell in Singapore, and every application, every student in fact interacts with the counselor here, and she helps students basis their marks, their interest, helps them to select universities, helps them to prepare their statement, ensures that the entire list of documents are sent in time to the universities selected. So complete hand-holding and guidance is done. And also the HODs ensure that from the very beginning, guide students as to which stream would be better for them, and discussions are done on regular basis.
Yeah, I would like to add here, in addition to that, we also organize career fairs. We invite universities. We have webinars for students. So a lot of opportunities are given for them to select the course that they would like to pursue.
Okay, I think there is one more question towards the exam. Akanksha is live on the webinar. She's asking, if I have studied in ICSE up till 10th, should I refer to my ICSE maths textbook for preparation, or should I consider using the CBSE textbooks?
All right, the syllabus is uniform. It's either CBSE or IGCSE. The basic concepts need to be very clear, and I understand both CBSE and ICSE, as far as English and math is concerned, are uniform. It's standardized. So you don't really need to worry. Just be thorough with whatever has been taught in whatever curriculum you've done in class 10th.
So the next question, thank you, Shija. The next question is, when will the written examination will be conducted? I guess this is already answered before. The original date was 11th of April. However, this may get delayed, and whatever the new date would be, it will be communicated through email to all the participants.
So Rashi, I just wanted to ask, how are we going to communicate? Through email, is it, to all the applicants, the new date?
Yeah, so once we finalize the new date for the examination, we'll be sending the email to all the candidates. Plus, we will be also sending the admit cards, which would have the exam date, center address, and other relevant details for the examination. We assure all the candidates that none of the GIS scholarship examination will not clash with your board examinations. So don't worry upon that. Whatever is the next date, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you, Rashi. This question about public transport near the school. So, of course, there is public transport available. There is buses available. There is MRT station, which is very close by, where you can travel through for the city travel. However, as far as hostel travel from hostel to the school is concerned, as you saw in the earlier video, it's like 5-minute walk. It's not even 5 minutes. So it's very close. So it'll be much easier to just walk through. I'll just go to what are Skype questions, interview based. This is more towards the examination. Anybody would like to take it, Rashi or Shija?
All right, the Skype interview happens once you've been shortlisted after the test, and it's not very subject specific. It's to understand your aptitude, your capabilities, also how fit or ready you are to take up this curriculum that we are offering outside India. To be away from home, we just send out feelers to find out if you're really ready, and if there's something that we should know about you. You could be a national level cricket player. You probably have an interest in folk dance or classical dance. So these are things that we ask of students in the Skype interview, just to understand you as a student.
Thank you, Shija. I think there is another one which is actually directed towards you. I would say, are your teachers from Singapore or from India?
We have teachers from India, as in we do have recruits who are, they join us from India, but largely 85% of our teachers are from Singapore. Senior classes, we do have teachers who are hired from India.
So,
and I must add here, they're highly qualified. They have a minimum 20 years experience, the senior classes, and they're well equipped, trained, qualified to teach both the curricula.
Thank you, Shija. Does the school offer any virtual classroom so we can join classes from home? Yeah, I think we've already answered that. In fact, one of our videos was to talk about the virtual classroom, but we are currently engaging in virtual classroom in this situation, and it's been going on quite successfully, and there are a lot of students who have taken advantage of the virtual classroom while sitting at home or hostel, and been able to engage with teachers. And how's the experience, Shija?
It's quite, we just conducted a virtual classroom last week, so it's quite interesting how it happens. We take first the attendance of students who are joining us virtually. They join in the class discussions that we have. They don't miss out on anything. Everything that is written on the board, the discussions that happen, it doesn't feel as if they are not present in class. They don't miss out anything. Everything is crystal clear. It is as if they are physically present in the classroom. So this is the kind of feedback that we got from students. And given the situation in Singapore, we do have students coming, attending classes also. Those who cannot, they have not felt any less for not being physically present in class.
Thank you, Shija. This very important question. I think we should answer it in the website says there are 42 skill studios. Please explain what these are and how they help us in grade 11 and 12. So I think we all can contribute to an extent. There are more than 40 studios that we already talked about, and these studios not only include the science labs or
life skills labs, Vishal. So we have science labs, life skill labs, which basically help a student to be more holistically prepared. So we have labs like ceramic lab, culinary lab, drama lab. So these all studios basically help in improving life skills. If a child is interested in music or is interested in drama, he can or she can make use of these studios to enhance or develop her or his skills here. So for grade 11 and 12, they will have these studios to use, and up to their liking, they can select a particular ECA, CCA, and make use of these labs.
So there are radio studios, there are TV studios. We have podcasts getting published very regularly, which are engaged and created by the students and even edited and shared with the students. So this entire activity is basically come down to one single phenomena, which we talk about our framework, which is our 9 gems framework, which is talking about holistic development. So these studios are based on that 9 gems pillar of our pedagogy. And when we talk about holistic development, that's where these kind of studios are supporting our students and teachers, facilitating them to learn the life skills of culinary studio, or as I mentioned, the radio studio, where people are using the podcast. It is we call it the Smartcast. It is available on cloud. There are multiple platforms where it is available.
You can go through those. It'll be really interesting.
Yeah, okay. 45% GIIS Singapore students.
Any more questions, Vishal? We have 12 minutes to be precise before this session comes to an end. And we would, before we come to an end, we would like to play the video. I'm really interested that if we are able to play that video on Smart Campus. Would we be able to do that? I think we're getting one more question before we move on to the video.
A couple of questions. Depending on the time available, we'll try to see if, as many we can answer. Please don't worry. Anything that is missed out, we'll try and get those answered in the email as well, with a thank you email. And
yeah, the invite which is gone has the webinar.sg email ID. You can write to us if in case we miss out on answering your question.
So there is a question, do we get a chance to participate in dance and music activity during the school? Yes, definitely. There are a lot of ECA and CCA options, Shija.
Correct. Other than the ECA, CCA options, which is part of their curriculum, we have a lot of competitions, be it house, inter-house competition, hackathon, or a MON. A lot of opportunities are given, and not only competitions that are arranged and organized by the school, we have student-led initiatives also, so which encourages them as organizers. And the common ones for dance people who are really keen on dance, we have something called the Jhankar, we have the GIIS Idol for singers, a lot of opportunities.
And we have RWCC, which is again
an
in-house platform which has been developed by GIIS. It's the real world challenge convention. We encourage students to take up a topic which is pretty relevant to the 21st century, which the children will be facing as they get into their adulthood, and take up that topic and understand the challenges of that topic, and find out solutions, what they think is the real solution, and that actually encourages students from different campuses to participate and compete with each other.
That's great, Sheetal and Shija, thank you. There's a question about the examination. Rashi, if you want to take this one, how much do we need to score to pass the preliminary written test?
So the minimum required is 75 to 80%.
So in the written exam, you're saying, Rashi, that the child should at least score 75% to go to the next round?
Right.
Along with the other criteria that are in place, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Rashid. There's Navneet has a question. Do you take SAT preparation? Do you help in filling the application on College Board? So I guess Sheetal already, when Sheetal and Shija, when they were answering the question about university placement, and we have a dedicated counselor team who helps and support students in filling up university applications and even selecting the right course and guiding them to the universities. So there is a whole process involved in it. If anybody would like to add anything on it.
So we help students to select universities, but SAT preparation and all, I think the child has to do on his own. We in the school, we don't have a provision where we are helping students to take SAT, or school is one of the center. So there it's a no. But of course, in terms of guiding and selecting universities, absolutely there is a counselor who helps students out with this.
I'll just correct you on that. SAT, we do have a center. We
have a center here?
We've now made it available, and Prep Zone is training our students for SAT preparation also.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's more or less answers all the questions. There's another question which is quite close to the university point, which is, I guess it is answered in the same. I think we can take the Smart Campus video now, if it is possible, and let all the participants see what we were talking about, the facilities in the campus.
Kira and Zach are collaborating and using Grammarly along the way. In the past, Kira and Zach
Today I couldn't go to school, but I could attend these lessons from my home and I didn't miss out on these. The platform made it very much similar to how it would be if I was in a classroom, because I could see the boards, I could see the teacher. I could ask the teacher a couple of questions I had related to the subject, and she had the ability to answer those while she was teaching at the same time.
The classrooms are very interactive. We have a fully equipped digital classrooms with smart boards, video conferencing, mics, is enabling us to give greater flexibility to our students. So it's non-restrictive. So if our students have stepped out due to extracurricular activities, or they're participating in sports or MUN, or if they're not well, I think it makes it easier for the teaching to continue.
When I'm using the virtual classroom, I can reach out to the students who are here, as well as the students who have logged into the system. This keeps all the students at a similar pace and helps them to understand how the class is progressing. GIIS is way ahead of most of the schools in Singapore in the concept of implementing technology in class, which is student friendly and also teacher friendly.
It's going to set new standards in learning because I think it's going to be much more collaborative and student-centered now.
This is a tool that is facilitating anywhere, anytime learning for our children. To see the kind of excitement and the fact that so many of them are logging on from home is a testimony that this is a program that is working wonderfully well with our children and teachers.
With this, we come to the end of the today's session. We have a similar session planned for next Saturday and on 4th of April. So feel free to join in case you have some questions.
Can we stop the video, please?
Stop the video.
I didn't play anything.
You are playing.
Thank you.
So in case you have maybe joined late or you missed out some portion of our today's presentation, you're welcome to join in again on 28th of April. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shrija. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Rashi.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining, and thank you for all the questions.
Yeah, I'll end the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, what do you